All right, man. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Inside the Feed. I got Sean Kelly on. He's the founder and CEO of Jersey Champs. He recently just launched a project, NFT project, Chibi Dinos. I'm so excited to have him on. How you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, man. There is so much I want to talk about because you've accomplished so much already, all the way to the beginnings of Jersey Champs to your current project and most recent project with the Chibi Dinos in the NFT space. So I just kind of want to, if you could give people some background about who you are and kind of how you got started and everything.
Yeah, so 24 years old. I grew up in New Jersey, so that's where I got my start in the entrepreneur space. Sold candy through school just to get some money, some side money. Then went to Rutgers University and started selling jerseys. Turned that into Jersey Champs, and we basically sell custom sports jerseys. We partner with influencers, rappers, and stuff, and create sick designs. And then from there, just hopped in the NFT space.
Yeah. So walk me through that. Like, what was like that light bulb moment you had, like kind of when you started Jersey Champs? Like what really was the light bulb moment where you're like, wow, there's a market for this. Like, I want to pursue this.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm thankful I went to college, because I got to see and experience a lot of stuff. But just at the tailgates for football games, every guy was wearing jerseys. So I knew there was a huge market. And we did our first one. It was like a Toronto Views from the Six jersey after Drake's album at the time. And it just, when they came in the mail, I knew I was onto something. I was literally jumping around the house.
Yeah, I mean, your jerseys are so sick. And I think one of the things that you do really well and that appeals to me the most is like you kind of like cemented the brand into the culture because you have like a myriad of different choices from, TV shows, football, basketball, baseball, rappers. Like, was that always the goal with the jerseys?
First it was just rappers, but then I wanted to branch off a bit. Yeah, so we started doing movies, TV shows. We got into like music festivals and esports and stuff. So the cool thing with jerseys is there's so many different things you can do with them.
Yeah, totally. So I saw that you like dropped out of school to pursue this full time. Walking me through that conversation, like, was that hard? Was there a lot of background noise or was it kind of like a no brainer for you?
Definitely had anxiety during that whole situation. Took me a month or two to decide fully, because I was in my sophomore year at Rutgers, living off campus, already committed to like a whole year lease. So I had to get out of that, which was hard. And then I had a 1.7 GPA. So I was basically failing, and I couldn't even get into the business school because my GPA wasn't good enough. So I was like, why am I even here, basically? And I just went full time with Jersey Champs. And yeah, my parents obviously iffy at first about it, but once they saw I was working really hard, I think they started supporting me.
Totally. Yeah, I think that's incredible. And I think one of the things, obviously, with Jersey Champs is like you do such a good job like marketing it. Kind of like, how did you go about that? Like, did you have a background in it? Like walk me through on how like you elevated the brand. Cause I think you obviously did an amazing job using social media. So kind of like what were your key marketing initiatives and kind of like how you saw the market respond to your jerseys and stuff?
Yeah, so back in the day when I was a broke college student, tons of guerrilla marketing. Like it was so fun just thinking of stuff because I was
Yeah.
broke. But Instagram was the main thing the first year or two, just paying pages for shout outs and stuff. That wasn't really a big thing back then, 5 years ago. So, every shout out we were buying at the time was profitable pretty much. I would pay like a couple $100 and get a few hundred more back. And then I would just keep reinvesting it into shout outs. And then we started Facebook ads from there back when it wasn't as saturated. So like 3, 4 years ago, I mean, you probably know any Facebook ads was profitable if it was a decent product. So it's all about just taking advantage of where the market trends are. And right now that's, like TikTok influencers and stuff. You just always got to be on top of it.
Totally. And I think obviously, with Jersey Champs too, not only is there like a jersey for everyone, but I think one of the main, like, how are you able to like land those big names early on? Cause correct me if I'm wrong, but like you got like two chains on and Mark Cuban, like, was that just guerrilla marketing, cold emails, or walk me through on how you kind of got those big names on there?
Yeah, 2 Chains was a cold email. That's another thing I love telling people to do that, because they think I don't know, like email doesn't get the best reputation, I guess, but cold emails have changed my life. Like I've met so many people through cold emails. I just emailed the senior VP of licensing at Hasbro. They make all the toys in the world. They did $7 billion last year, and he responded. And we're going to talk about doing a Chibi Dino collab with them. So cold emails are massive. Mark Cuban, my friend was doing PR for at the time, so I went through him on that one. And yeah, a lot of celebrities just cold emails, cold DMs, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And even doing Instagram DMs, like you can sometimes you gotta just shoot your shot and kind of get lucky with it. And then you kind of just take advantage of whatever opportunity presents itself. But what were some of, like, if the young Sean Kelly could see the new Sean Kelly in terms of just Jersey Champs, because I obviously want to shift gears into the NFT projects. I'm fascinated by it. But just talking about Jersey Champs, what would like the new you tell the old you, like when you were starting to build this brand?
I would tell myself, focus on what I'm good at. Cause at first I was a micromanager doing everything. And I literally mean everything. Customer service, answering Instagram DMs, all that stuff. Not wasted, but I spent so much time on it. And I'm glad I learned how to do everything, because I think you should learn a little bit about everything about your company. But I shouldn't have, spent all my hours doing stuff like that. Cause I'm like more of a visionary kind of guy, and I need to be putting people in the right spots. And that's what I did with Jersey Champs and Chibi Dinos. So I think just focus on what you're good at.
Totally. I love that. So I want to shift gears a little bit, obviously, to the NFT space. So before we get into like your project, tell me about how you kind of caught the NFT bug. Like what excited you the most, and like what was your mindset? Like what was like the first thing you're like, holy crap, like I want in on this, I want to learn more? Like were there any projects that stood out, or was it the community? Tell me a little bit about like why you are so into the NFTs.
Yeah, I've had a weird journey actually, not like most. So I got in earlier this year, around February. My first NFT company that I looked into was a Comey Vive. And I just invested in it when it was at a cent, I believe. And then it had this huge run up to, no, sorry, 1/10 of a cent is when I got it. And then it had this huge run up to a cent. And now it's back down to half a cent. But that was a crazy journey. I liked what they were doing with their licensing. Have you heard of that company?
I actually have not.
Okay. Yeah, they got crazy licensing.
Really?
And yeah, just to disclose, like I own the token, but they have like Marvel, like crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, if you look it up, it's insane.
So they have their own token, you were saying? So it's like
Yeah, so
their
they have a
own.
coin called Omi, but the company's called Ecomi, and they basically have this metaverse, and they have licensing of hundreds of different companies, some of them in the Fortune 500, and they implant their NFTs in their metaverse.
So that's kind of what like made you want to start. Like that's what kind of like started shifting your mindset towards, oh my God, like there's something here. Like this is incredible.
Yeah, that plus, I mean, a lot of people have seen Ready Player One. So
Oh
that
yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's way ahead of its time, but that's where I see everything going in the NFT space eventually. And then from there, I got into Top Shot, but I got in a little too late. So I
Yeah.
lost about 200 grand there.
Hmm.
So then I took a break for a bit because lost money on Top Shot, and Omi was back down to like 1/10 of a cent, I think. And then started going on Twitter just randomly because I barely used Twitter at the time, and saw all this NFT hype there between Gary Vee, Logan Paul, Banks, these weird profile pictures. I'm like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
And then just studied that market nonstop. Just
Yep.
DMing all the top people I saw, asking questions, and then yeah, launched my own project from there.
It's amazing. Yeah. I kind of want to just go on a little side tangent too. Like obviously, 5 years ago when you started Jersey Champs, like Instagram was maybe obviously not what it is today. It's more like a premium, like social media page. But it obviously helped you grow your brand back then. But why is it like, and I keep asking myself this, and I think it's pretty obvious, but sometimes like confuse things, but why Twitter and Discord are like the main focal points in the NFT space? Like, why is it not like Instagram or Facebook?
Yeah, that's a really good question. The only big NFT pages on Instagram are NFT, and I don't really know of any others, honestly. I
Yeah.
feel like the culture on Twitter is is more suitable for the NFT crowd because it's more sophisticated buyers, I guess, and they like to get things out quickly. A lot of them don't have their personal lives. Like a lot of them use pseudonyms and they're using avatars. You don't really
Yeah.
know who it is. So I guess on Instagram it's harder to do that. But Discord, yeah, I don't know why. It took me weeks to figure out Discord. It's really not user friendly in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think to go mass market, we're gonna have to figure out something other than Discord. But people like the Discord servers for some reason.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting to see how people are, using these different platforms for a specific reason. And I think it's kind of fascinating because then it just makes you think about like what else could be out there and what else is going to come to be. And it's just obviously just staying, up to date on it. But just going back a little bit, like obviously with the NBA Top Shop stuff, I'm sure you saw like yesterday that now Dappler Labs is doing the NFL thing. What are they get like what I know that kind of like Top Shop you obviously know way more about it, but it was like up and then down, and I think it kind of like didn't do too well. So how do you think they're going to innovate, or what different things can they do with the NFL, or was it just basketball in general, or is like the NFL going to be okay with the same concept behind NBA Top Shop?
Yeah, I mean, I know. Don't get me wrong. I know people that made a ton of money off Top Shot. I think a lot of people got in at the peak, which happens with a lot of different stuff. So it's just all timing. But I also think they made so many of those moments, like where the market just didn't have enough money to keep buying them at that rate. So we'll see what they do with the NFL. Maybe they won't make as many, and people feel like they have more value because they were printing those damn Top Shot moments.
No, I would get like the like most random like moment of like just a bounce pass, and I'm like, I mean, who really wants that? I know it's a collectible, but so yeah, I want to talk about your projects. I think it's amazing. You crushed it. So let's just take it to the beginning. Walk me through the process of like being like, okay, you saw this token that got you on the NFT run, and then you're like, okay, maybe I want to create a project. Like, walk me through like the beginning of the idea to like the execution of it.
Yeah, so I had no idea when I bought that token that I'd end up making a project. But then I saw like Bored Apes, I saw Punks, I saw Pudgy Penguins popping off, so many projects, and I just really studied it, saw what they were doing, because I'm really good at like just studying the market and just coming out with my own stuff with a slight twist, basically. So I saw what they were doing and I wondered how I could do it better. And I decided with Chibi Dinos, no one did Chibis at the time. No one was really doing physical merch tied to the NFT. From what I saw, I think right before that, Bored Apes did a collab with Adam Bomb Squad, but there wasn't really many people doing it. And I knew I could bring my Jersey Champs community into this project, which ended up happening because a lot of people that got it was their first NFT purchase ever. And my main goal is just to build that community and build that family atmosphere and just build a brand, basically.
Yeah, no, I think it's fascinating. I think the execution of it is amazing. I unfortunately wasn't able to get it because they sold out in 20 minutes, which kudos to you. That was like incredible. But kind of like taking your principles with seeing the market. Okay, so like you seem like you've learned a lot, obviously, from building Jersey Champs. Knowing the market at that time was Instagram, and then using Instagram and being like, hey, collaborations, DMs are a way to elevate the brand. What principles are you taking with you to do that in the NFT space? Because obviously it's not on Instagram. Obviously they're gonna be a little bit different. So are there like key indicators that that are gonna help move Chibi Dinos forward as this keeps evolving?
Yeah, NFT space is interesting because a lot of the top dogs don't like when you work with influencers, actually. So it's totally different atmosphere than, an e-commerce brand where people like to see influencers repping your brand. So you got to go about it strategically. It can't look like you're just paying for promo. People don't like that. So you got to actually partner up with these influencers and make sure they're on board with the company and not just getting paid to promote. That's why we went the team captain route. And, these guys are team captains of the 10 teams we have. And they're going to be part of the company and, interacting in our Discord, tweeting stuff. And we're going to have in-person events eventually. And some of them will probably be there too.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Obviously kind of like the same question, a little bit different, but like, how are you guys going to evolve and stay relevant? Because a year from now, the NFT space as we know it is going to be so different, you know, like you said, metaverse, gaming,
Mhm.
you know, what's on your guys' radar, and just in general in the NFT space, what are some like key benchmarks that people have to be aware of and be willing to evolve to? Like, are there certain things that, you know, people have to like constantly evolve to keep the community going and all that?
Yeah, good question. The NFT space changes quicker than anything I've ever seen, like anything. So a year from now, I don't even know what it's going to look like, but one of the things we're good at is adapting really quickly. So we do have like that roadmap plan where we're going to be in the metaverse. We're going to have a game out eventually, but who knows? That could change at any time. I mean, even a month ago when I started the project, the space was so different, so
Yeah.
different.
I
So
mean, I mean, it's crazy. Like, it's absolutely like insane to see like all this stuff. And what do you look for in an NFT project? Because obviously the most obvious one is like the art behind it. But besides that, because I think that's like the main value right now, is kind of like how cool the art is. And but there's also community aspect, utility, and all that. But I think as of right now, for a general NFT consumer, it would be like, is this art cool? And I think that's what like the Bored Ape Yachts guys do. But I think like the perceived value right now is in the art, right? But what else like can do you see people really drawn to right now in the NFT space?
yeah, that's why I said earlier it's changed so much. So 80% of projects right now are below their mint price, their floor price is below it. So you got to be really careful about the hype because a lot of people like buying projects because there's a lot of hype behind it. But you got to really take a look at the actual project and see the utility and the team. If the team isn't doxed, I usually don't like that. That's a big thing for me because when I'm buying NFT, I'm investing in the founders. So I like to see the founders and the artists. Are the artists known? Because if the artists have a history of doing art for 10, 20 years, you know, they've been in the community. It's not just a cash grab for them. I really like that. Like there's a project coming out called Mechaverse, and
Yep.
both of the artists are known, been in the space, done deals for major companies, and they have 120K in their Discord right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I actually it's funny that you said that. Probably like 24 hours ago, I just entered the Discord and I was just like the avatar profile reminds me of some like Halo shit, you know, it's like insane. But yeah, no, the founders and things like that, I think things that you know you got to look into that stuff in terms of like when you're, you know, going into the NFT space. But what were some of the things that you know you didn't expect while building this project, or some minor setbacks, or maybe, you know, some of those things?
So yeah, I really had no idea on payment. So I actually gave my devs and developers 40%, which is crazy. So that's just a learning lesson there. And Discord, I had to figure out, man. I mean, if I recommend anything, you gotta really nail that before you launch a project because people take Discord serious, and if it's a shit show in there, then they're not gonna invest in your project. So
Yeah,
really
totally.
get a good team behind that. You're going to need a community manager, moderators, 24/7 because people are all over the world. But yeah,
Yeah. How big's your team for your project? I'm curious.
yeah, that's the crazy part. I've never ran a team this big because with Jersey Champs, we were so lean the whole time. So we got 15 people on the team right now, and I'm paying out
Wow.
25K a month.
Wow.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
what's
crazy.
the if you were to put like a percentage into the roles, like what is like the main focus for your brand and the Chibi Dinos? Like, where are you putting the most resources towards to make sure that, you know, your brand's safe?
So we're attempting to partner with large retail brands that are looking to get in the NFT space. If we can land some of those and show real utility, that's massive. We're also looking to have in-person meetups because not a lot of NFTs are doing that, and I think that forms a strong bond amongst everyone. So the main focus for us is community building. Our floor has been pretty steady, which I like. We were below mint for a while, but we rebounded nicely, and hopefully it's onwards from here.
Yeah, totally. And you know, just talking, but like what excites you the most, like kind of if you were to take, one or three things about what excites you the most with the NFT space, like, I mean, because people, you always hear the negatives and the devil's advocate in the NFT space, like this is just a fad, it's going to die out. But I mean, I think it's going to stay around. I think it's the future, and I think most people do as well. But like, what would you say to them? And yeah, like, what would you say to the people that be like, it's just a fad, like, you know?
So I think these 2D profile pictures are a fad, but I think the NFT space as a whole is going to stay because I mean, I'm telling you, this metaverse, I could see our kids going to school in the metaverse, like
Oh
taking
God.
classes there, like dead ass. Like Facebook just announced they invested $50 million into building their
Yep.
metaverse.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
Like,
crazy.
yeah, it's gonna be a major thing for our kids' lives, I think.
Yeah, if so, I kind of have an idea what like the metaverse is, and I get the concept of it, but just for my audience and for other people out there, like, how would you describe what a metaverse essentially is?
Yeah, I think so. Right now, it's in its basic stages where you're still, inputting characters into the game and then using your computer or whatever to control them. But down the road, you're gonna be putting on glasses or a headset, and you're gonna be in the metaverse, walking around doing stuff. Like if you watch Ready Player One, that will
Yeah,
describe
no, I was gonna say, like, whenever anyone has any questions, I'm like, just watch Ready Player One and then
it.
get your mind blown and then talk to me.
Yeah.
Like that's a required like introductory 101 to NFT.
Yeah, that movie's gonna go down as one of the greatest because
Yeah.
it's so ahead of its time, I think.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what's on the horizon for Chibi Dinos? Well, actually, before that question, I'm curious on why the Chibi Dinos, like, what was that concept? How did that concept start? Because you said that nobody
Yeah.
did it, which
Yeah,
obviously is a
nobody
great reason. But
nobody, I believe, did chibis, which chibis are like an Asian character with they're short with stubby arms. So I had to figure that out first because someone approached me and I was like, what is that? And then I put the dinosaur twist on because I didn't see any dinosaur products at the time, I believe. And then the jerseys was just for Jersey champs. So we got a cool mix going on there.
yeah, I was gonna ask you kind of like, is there gonna be synergy between Jersey Champs and your Chibi Dinos? Because you do already have like marketplace for it because the dinos can actually wear a jersey. Is where do you
Yeah.
see collaborating with your brand to your other brand?
Yeah, so we already have Chibi Dino jerseys. I think they're being rolled out in the merch store soon, and then we're gonna turn the Chibi Dinos into real life toys eventually too with the jerseys.
What do you see that most NFT projects kind of struggle at, and that's the reason why they fail? Like, what are some like key failure mistakes that some of these projects lack, and that's why they failed?
Yeah, there's basic stuff like make sure you get listed on Rarity Tools, Rarity Sniper. Those are huge. Nextdrop.is as well. So make sure you do that. You need a team. You need a full team running the Discord. You need a developer that's experienced. I had to experience this one time when I was consulting for a project. The minting didn't work. So like you need a developer that knows what they're doing. That's very important. The design, you need to make sure it's unique. Do something no one else has done. I see like 5 panda projects a day right now. And yeah, just have marketing, have a team for marketing, whether it's yourself or you outsource a team, but it's not as easy as it looks. Like people just see the results and think they could do it. And I've seen so many projects fail.
Yeah, totally. And obviously you've accomplished so much in your 24 years. Starting from Jersey Champs to doing major deals in the NFT space and things like that. Did you ever see yourself kind of accomplishing some of these things that you are currently doing?
I always
Like
believe
if
in
you were like
myself.
5 years ago, like you're like, I'm gonna be here, like kind of like
Yeah.
that moment.
I don't know if I thought I'd be here this quick, but I always believed in myself. Like I never had a job for anyone else. I wanted to be my own boss always. And I knew one day I'd get there.
Where can people find you?
Sean Mike Kelly on IG and Sean Kelly 25 on Twitter.
Dope. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sean Kelly, thank you so much for everything. We'll be in touch. But have a good one.
Thanks, Andrew. Have a good one.
Yeah, bro. Take care.
If you guys enjoyed the podcast, follow us on Instagram at Inside the Feed Podcast and let us know what you liked and what you want to see from us. Once again, thank you.